Recently, a big story broke out from Taiwan as what they've called it the biggest espionage case in Taiwan's history. Taiwan's former Vice Minister of Defense Zhang Zheping was under investigation over concerns that Zhang was contacting a spy from Mainland China. Furthermore, Zhang was accused of accepting gifts from the spy. Today we'll have a look at this case, and it should provide us a window to see how the Chinese Communist regime infiltrates other governments. Welcome to Beyond the News, I'm Faye. You may be wondering, why is this something I want to know? Taiwan is such a small country, it is on the other side of the world. However, Taiwan is far more important than many people realize. China expert Clive Hamilton described Taiwan as the canary in the coal mine. It is a country at the forefront of the Chinese Communist Party's aggression. The Taiwanese are also with a Chinese background. Consequently, Taiwan is also the first choice testing ground for all kinds of infiltration methods the Chinese Communist regime has developed. And after testing them in Taiwan, the CCP will then employ them in other countries around the world, especially in Western countries like the US. Therefore, for those of us who are living in the West, we should at least watch out for that. Unfortunately, the CCP's infiltration has been at work for all the developed countries, even though most of us don't notice it. Let's first take a look at what happened in Taiwan. According to Taiwan's Mirror Media, since 2015, Zhang Zheping, the then Vice Defense Minister, was suspected of having contacts with a CCP spy. This spy is from Mainland China's military system. He disguised himself as a businessman from Hong Kong. What the spy didn't know, he has long been under the Taiwanese government's surveillance. Zhang not only had dinners and traveled with the spy, but also received gifts from him. Zhang's wife also often traveled to Hong Kong and Mainland China under the spy's arrangement. Let's see who Zhang Zheping is. Zhang was Taiwan's Air Force commander, the person in charge of defending Taiwan from the Chinese Communist government's flight invasion. In 2019, Zhang was promoted as Vice Minister of Defense and was expected to be promoted to Chief of Staff this year. However, he was demoted in July this year. He is now the president of Taiwan's National Defense University. Rumor has it that the demotion was due to his alleged connection with the spy. After this news broke out, Zhang himself and the Ministry of National Defense have issued statements stating that Zhang has not leaked any secrets to the CCP. Zhang also said that he will be fully cooperating with the investigation. However, what's worrisome for Taiwan is that in recent years, Taiwan's military system has been infiltrated heavily by the CCP. Many current and retired generals are said to be actively working for the Chinese Communist government. Right now, the biggest threat to Taiwan is probably not the size of CCP's military, but the degree of their infiltration in Taiwan. This is a serious hidden danger for Taiwan's national defense system. I will mention two famous cases today. In 2004, Major General Luo Shenzhe, the director of the Communications and Electronic Information Division of the Army Command, was trapped by the CCP's honeypot and turned into a CCP spy. He repeatedly delivered important secrets to the CCP. In 2012, Luo was sentenced to life imprisonment. And in 2016, a group of 32 retired generals went to Beijing, listened to Xi Jinping's marvelous speech. These generals were high-ranking members in the military, with a total of 53 combined stars. Such lists could go on and on. This is just to give you an idea on how serious the issue is for Taiwan now. So what kind of methods the CCP employed to turn these military generals? Here are mainly three methods. The first is bribery, of course. The CCP agents will figure out which officers have the most greed for money and pay them to steal classified information from Taiwan, or ask them to use their connections to attract more military personnel and bring them for free expedition to China or trips to other countries, so that CCP intelligence officers could have opportunities to connect and possibly turning more high-ranking officials to a dark side. The second is honeypot, using beautiful women to seduce the officials. The CCP took advantage of officials who are lascivious and set up the beauty traps. One example is the General Law we've mentioned earlier. He was tied to a CCP female spy inextricably, so the CCP used it as a threat and forced him to obediently serve the CCP. The third method is a more hidden one, that is, giving promises for power and higher position. The CCP knows that certain retired generals are dissatisfied with Taiwan's political situation or with their position and power in the military. The CCP promised these generals that after Taiwan was unified by the mainland, these generals will be given high positions. They can enjoy glory and wealth when that happens. So in conclusion, the CCP's methods of flipping these high-ranking generals are to use the weakness in human nature, spoiling their desires for fame, fortune, lusts, and power to conquer them one by one. That's why so many Taiwanese generals have turned to the CCP side after their retirement. So the next question is, what is the purpose for CCP in turning and taking in all these old generals? The ultimate goal is obviously to take over Taiwan. But if we look a bit deeper, there are two strategies behind what they are trying to do. One is to obtain various military-related information. The other is to influence the public's opinion in Taiwan. The first is for military advantage. When these high-level generals are being turned by the CCP, they're valuable assets of military information. They will collect useful intel for the CCP, and they can easily and effectively spread misinformation in Taiwan military's upper echelon, thus weakening Taiwan's military from the inside. That's already not something we want to see, but if we take one step back, even if the CCP's plan to recruit generals and spies is exposed, they can still use this to influence Taiwan's public opinion. These spy cases will cast doubts in the Taiwan government and the public towards the military. The distrust in military-civilian relationship will further deepening the division within Taiwan's social fabric, which is something the CCP wants to see. I think for now we have a basic understanding of how China is infiltrating Taiwan in order to achieve its goal of unifying China. But like we said earlier, Taiwan is CCP's first testing ground for infiltration. After that, the targets would be the Western world. Let's take a recent example from the US. This guy, Eric Swalwell, is a US representative from California. He was first elected in 2013. In December last year, Axios reported that from 2012 to 2015, he had developed a close tie with a Chinese spy, Fan. During those years, Fan was seen in photos with Swalwell in various fundraising events, and Fan was also an intern at Swalwell's campaign. There have been rumors that the two had an intimate relationship. On top of that, since 2015, Swalwell has been a member of US Congress House Intelligence Committee that gives him access to sensitive information others won't have access to. Could some of that information be mysteriously shown up at CCP's hands? We might never know. Even though he was cleared for no wrongdoings, it begs the question whether he had been honeypotted by the CCP. And to this day, he is still a member of the House Intel Committee. It is complicated, isn't it? I think that we have also had examples on how Australian MPs were turned by the CCP. Remember Sam Dastyari, who had to quit his Labour senator position over his Chinese connection. Remember that last April, the Australian newspaper had obtained the leaked database of almost 2 million CCP members, including their party position, date of birth, national ID, and ethnicity. Many of them are inside companies, universities, and even government agencies of the developed countries. The CCP's infiltration has already gone a lot deeper and wider than most of us can imagine. Being vigilant in helping prevent the CCP's infiltration to our nation is the least thing we can do and should do. Alright, that's all for today. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell and share the video far and wide. Thank you for watching Beyond the News. I'm Faye. I'll see you again very soon.